The original BlazBlue was a highly colorful and technical addition to the fighting game genre. It contained some of the great visuals that made Guilty Gear popular, while creating a masterpiece of a fighting system all of its own. The real question is, does the game extend past what made the original BlazBlue so impressive?
What's that?
The 13th hierarchical city of Kagutsuchi. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
As soon as Continuum Shift opens up, there are some considerable changes to the previous game. First, the menu system has a more open-ended feel this time around, using a number system to ease beginners into the process. The tutorial does exactly as it says. It runs you through the basics and even advanced tactics in the game. It also introduces players to the brand new beginner mode, which is pretty much for players who don't wish to learn the complicated combos in game. The best part about the tutorial is the commentary given by Rachel. She will utterly berate you for having to learn the most basic moves in the game.
This should execute a backstep, although I confess I doubt you can manage even so simple a task.
Her dialogue can be pretty hilarious, and it is worth going through even if you know all of the moves. With this mode though, it makes an already accessible fighting game even more so. There are a few more new modes here, the first being the challenge mode, where players can take their character of choice and go down a long list of missions. These missions consist of trying to pull off a string of combos that the game provides for you until the mission is completed. In reality, this setting is more like an advanced training mode for learning combos and special moves. It really isn't all that interesting and should have been expanded a bit more, or simply added to the training section. Next up is Legion mode. In this mode you take a single character out to destroy armies. Each time you defeat an army you have your choice of characters to take from the team. The more people in your army means slower regeneration for the injured, so it gives you the option of having a massive amount of numbers of selecting characters familiar to you and playing through. Furthermore, in Legion mode you can gain bonuses like health potions or lowering the level of enemies a bit while fighting. The story mode has been expanded a bit more this time around. Where the previous BlazBlue kind of led you along a small path, this version throws a lot more backstory and dialogue between the characters. So now you get more of a full-fledged story, and yes, the choose your own adventure style dialogue choices still appear. However, there seem to be fewer chances to go in the wrong direction this time. I will leave a disclaimer for the story mode. No matter how awesome it is, it does become rather long-winded, so don't expect too much actual combat.
Hey, that busty silhouette has to be Booby Ladies! Booby Lady! Over here! Jump!
Tao, what are you doing here?
Meow! They're real this time! Meow!
Everything you know and love from Calamity Trigger is present in Continuum Shift. The same combat that made the original so interesting is refined in the second iteration, especially now that they've made a mode just for being a casual player. Yet the game is still fundamentally sound enough that the hardcore will decimate them. It's mainly in the way that the characters themselves are designed. Some of them are easy to get into, but others take time to learn and require a lot more strategic style. A good example is the way that Ragnar is designed. He's your basic Street Fighter style character. Yet if you were to choose someone like Rachel or Carl, it takes a bit more finesse than just charging forward and using combos. Not to mention that each character has a special ability called the Drive. Each of these moves are unique to a character that you can use them with, like Ragnar's Drive moves, which can suck health from other characters. There are also some new playable characters thrown into the mix. The extremely fast Hazama, who can dart around the screen with ease by using change from his chest. He's more of an advanced character since most of his attacks are about positioning and movement, while Tsubaki is more of a beginner to mid-range character, fairly easy to get into since her moves are pretty straightforward. The multiplayer is still as robust as before and hasn't really changed from the first edition, which isn't really an issue since it's a one-on-one fighting game. Yet this is where we come to the real truth about BlazBlue. Not much has changed from the original. But this game is only $40 in sticker price, which is basically a purchase of 2 new characters, a much improved story, a tutorial, and some new modes, which in the long term will prove to be quite a good investment if you're a fan of the series. For beginners, Continuum Shift is the ideal purchase, as it introduces the game to more casual players who just want to get into the thick of it. So the game ends up being more of a refining of the original game, but adding little to set it apart against the first one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing since Calamity Trigger's fighting system is still amazing to this day. So BlazBlue Continuum Shift earns a B from Half-Ass Gaming. It's a solid fighter worth a purchase, but more like an expansion than a sequel.
Sorry, I fell on you.
You!
Yes, unfortunately my flight mode malfunctioned.
It seems even you could not defeat his prodigious weight. I mean, my goodness, you should have seen your remains, flat as can be, and you had sort of burst open at both ends. spraying viscera and gore about on the surrounding stone. Why, you rather resembled a fleshy jelly paste.
Stop! Just leave it at that, Rabbit.